Here, I am going to be supplementing the materials and explanations in class about writing paper one. I'm going to be supplementing this with some explanations in this video. So, first, before I get into that explanation, I want to acknowledge that we're working on learning about two very different writing tasks at the same time. And that might feel a little overwhelming because the writing is different and it might feel like they're kind of the same, but it's important to keep these different writing topics separate. So we're working on learning about writing paper one and then also writing the midterm, which is going to be the same strategy and approach as the WPA. So the genre for paper one is an explanatory synthesis. So that means bringing together multiple sources and basing and explaining a certain broader topic with these smaller subtopics that rely on where each subtopic relies on multiple sources. Then with the midterm, it's going to be a rhetorical analysis. That means that you're looking at a paper or an article, one single piece of writing, and you're evaluating how well it performs as a piece of writing. So that said, I'm trying to look at, do you give your opinion? In paper one, no, you do not give your opinion. However, in the midterm, you do give your opinion, not about the topic, but you give your opinion about whether or not the article successfully argues for its point or successfully conveys its ideas, and this is based on rhetorical analysis. And then I'm thinking about the purpose. So the purpose of paper one is to provide a multifaceted account of a given topic. So show the different sides of the topic of advertising. And then the purpose of the midterm is going to be evaluating an article's rhetorical strategies. So that means that you look at that single article and you say whether or not it is successful in how it writes and maybe like what its strengths and its weaknesses are, what it's missing, what is done well, how it does it. So that said, I want to just also point out the fact that the number of articles that paper one uses is 4, whereas the midterm uses 1. And one thing I'm writing here is the approach. And I realize this might feel a little bit abstract, but I want to say that with paper one, you're writing for your reader. So that means that you're trying to think about, so I understand this topic well. How can I make it so that another person can understand this topic well? And you're bringing in the ideas that you think will easily convey your ideas, that will help them understand the process, that you're filling in the gaps where if something's unclear, you're smoothing it over so that when they read it, it's understandable to them. And then the approach for the midterm is demonstrating that you can read like a writer. So that means that what you're doing is you're reading the article and you can show that you understand why they make certain choices, why they might use emotional language, or point out, like identify that emotional language and kind of say like how it's successful, how it impacts the reader. So these things aren't mutually exclusive. So there's going to be things that you're going to be using these together. So because while you're demonstrating with the midterm that you can read like a writer, at the same time, you do have to still write for your reader, because just because you have and can think about the ideas doesn't mean that you've completed the task if you can't put it down in a thoughtful and organized way so that the reader, the grader, can understand your ideas. And at the same time, while you're writing for your reader with paper one, your goal is to clearly convey something. You also want to demonstrate that you can read like a writer a little bit, that you can go in and understand the ideas from the articles. It's not the same in depth, but I think that it's important that these two aren't mutually exclusive, but these do have, but I want to say that with paper one, there's more of a focus on writing for your reader, whereas with the midterm, you want to demonstrate that you can read like a writer. So now that we've kind of clarified those two, I want to go back to the idea that this is going to be focusing on paper one. So the midterm is something that's important. It's something that we're going over, but that's not our focus at the moment. Our focus right now is going to be paper one. So let's get into it.